after many rounds of interviews, you finally got a job offer from this cool new tech startup. Microsoft is offering you $50,000 a year plus 10,000 stock options package with $100 strike price, 4-year vesting time, and 1-year cliff. You think to yourself that, hey, the salary is not that great, but there are stock options in the offer, so it cannot be bad, right? Well, the answer is not that simple. Let's try deconstructing this offer to help you understand what different terms mean and eventually help you make a better informed decision. First of all, this is not a financial advice. I'm just a software developer who is willing to share knowledge with others. So before making any decisions, please double check everything. And if you find something wrong in my video, please let me know in the comment. Both private companies, such as many startups, and public ones, such as Microsoft or Apple, have their value divided into shares. The value of the share in the publicly traded companies is obvious because this is the value that we see in the stock exchange. When it comes to the private company, the thing gets a bit trickier because there needs to be either a third-party auditor or there are some algorithms to estimate the value of the share, and such estimated value we call fair market value. Okay, so we know what a share is, but how does it differ from an option? As the name suggests, when you have an option, we have a choice to do something. In this case, we have a choice to buy a share at a specific price and within a specific time frame. The time and the price do the trick here. A typical stock options plan, such as the one I mentioned at the beginning of this video, assumes 4-year vesting time with 1-year cliff, which means that after 1 year, 25% of the options are vested, and then each month another 2% get vested until it reaches 100%. Once an option is vested, you can exercise it, which means you can buy the share. And the trick here is that the price you'd be buying the share for is not the current fair market value, but rather the strike price, which means the fair market value from the time when you were granted the option. So what you actually earn when selling the share is the difference between current fair market value and the original fair market value, the strike price. And this difference in many cases can be pretty huge, especially if you joined a successful startup at an early stage. That's why it's sometimes worth to rest and vest like the heroes of the legendary Silicon Valley show.
Well, why are you guys still coming in?
Rest and vest.
Oh, because in order to fully vest your options, you've got to wait until your contracts are up. I get it.
You catch on slow, you'll fit right in here.
Once you exercise the share, how can you actually sell it to get the cash onto your bank account? When it comes to the public companies, the thing is relatively easy. You just go to the stock exchange, you press the sell button, and you're done. Private companies' shares aren't, however, traded on the stock market, so you can't just log into your broker account, sell the shares, and sit on the pile of cash. You can sell private companies' shares in one of the 3 following scenarios. Scenario number 1 is when the company gets sold. In this case, the new owner has to buy all the shares, including the ones owned by the minority shareholders such as yourself. By the way, if you're still vesting when the company gets sold, don't worry because your options will be automatically converted into shares and sold, so you will get the money anyways. Scenario number 2 is when the company goes public. In this case, you will get an opportunity to convert your private shares into public ones and then sell it on the stock market. Scenario number 3 is when your company offers you to buy the shares back, and they might offer you a good price. However, be careful because if they offer you a good price, it might mean that there is some deal being cooked and the company will be sold in the near future. So if you wait a bit, you can actually earn much more. The problem is that as a regular employee, you have no guarantee that any of such positive scenarios will happen in the foreseeable future. And that's why buying the stocks can be sometimes a real psychological game. Alright, let's assume that you vested the options, exercised them, and then sold the shares. Now what? You go for a travel around the world in your private jet? Yes, but before that, you should probably clarify your situation with the taxes. And this shit can be really tricky. The moment when you will have to pay the tax might differ on the country you live in. And there are again 3 potential scenarios that can happen. The first and the most basic scenario is that you pay the tax from the actual income that you got when the money lands on your account. That's what most of us would expect. But unfortunately, life is not always that easy. So let's have a look at the second potential scenario. In this scenario, you would have to pay the tax already when exercising the options. So before you even see any dollar on your account, you would then pay the tax based on the difference between the current fair market value and the strike price. So in case you have a big options package, make sure to prepare some additional cash because you might be unpleasantly surprised. Third, and the least obvious scenario, is that some countries might interpret the moment of granting the options as the income already. In this case, you would have to pay the tax based on the strike price. To me, it feels a bit like walking into the shop and having to pay for the possibility of buying cookies in the future without having any guarantee that these cookies will be fresh or even exist after a few years. Another problem related to taxes is the tax amount. Again, it's complex because it can differ depending on your country and the country of your company. So as you can see, the things with taxes can get very complex very quickly here. In my opinion, it's best to bite the bullet and pay the tax advisor to analyze and verify your situation. I guarantee that your future self will thank you later. Alright, we are done with the taxes, so let's rewind. Have a look at the offer from the beginning of this video and let's try answering the original question. Is this a good offer or not? $50,000 is a decent salary if, like me, you live in Poland, but if instead you live in San Francisco, then this is not a killer deal. Options package will be the deciding factor here. The 4-year vesting time is quite a lot for a single job in the software engineering business. Everything is fine as long as you believe in your company's mission, but sometimes you may just have enough and be tempted to change jobs. If you're still in the vesting process, this might become a kind of a golden cage for you, and sometimes the gold might turn out not to be real, but rather a shit wrapped in a golden paper in case the company's finances go south. Also, some companies drop new 4-year options plan each year, which may make the decision of leaving even harder. Another thing here is that having a 10,000 options package with $100 strike price means that you'll have to eventually pay $1 million plus potential taxes to buy the shares without knowing when and if you will see the money again. If you have free cash, then obviously it's a great place to allocate it. But with the $50,000 salary from the offer, it means that you would have to work for 20 years to be able to exercise the shares. Of course, assuming that you don't eat anything and that you sleep in a tent. One last consideration is that knowing that you get an options package with $100 strike price is still not enough to decide, because we are missing one key factor here. Since the money you'll be earning is the difference between the current fair market value and the strike price, it's very useful to know the current value. If the current fair market value is already a lot bigger than the strike price, then most probably it's gonna be a good deal. In many cases, however, the strike price is gonna be equal to the current fair market value. So you'll have to believe in the company's mission, wait, do the good job, and pray for the market to believe in the company as well. Because otherwise you may be left with 10,000 options worth nothing. Personally, I would avoid offers with a small salary, even if they include a big options package, because I wouldn't like to risk freezing a lot of money and then experiencing potential disappointments. I would rather search for offers with a reasonable salary and treat the options package as a nice to have, since it may result in a nice cash bonus in case the company gets sold. Do you agree with my approach? Do you think I missed some important aspect here? Let's discuss in the comments and see you in the next videos.